Can I actually do a little rant here?
Go ahead.
Can I do a little rant here?
I'll allow it.
Let's go.
All right. There's always these NFL and NBA comparisons. Why the NFL is better? Why more people watch it? Why don't people watch the NBA? Blah, blah, blah. One of the things that I think has come up consistently is the idea of parity, right? And I have said this multiple times throughout the season that this is the best the league has been in terms of overall talent depth and how that depth of talent is spread across the league. And it's reflected, I think, in the number of good teams.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers were like people treating the Lakers, let's say, like a bad basketball team. Or even the Warriors. The Warriors were not a bad basketball team. They were a good basketball team. There's just a lot of good basketball teams, and there's a lot of good players. It keeps coming up that somehow the Denver Nuggets had the worst finals run of all time, and people always talk about the seeds they played. First of all, they're the number one seed, so they had to play the 8 seed. They didn't have a choice there, right?
Really how it's set up.
Okay. Think about last year. Nuggets won, I want to say 53 games.
Something like that. Sounds all right.
Lakers won 43 because the Warriors won 44. In football, if a 12-4 team, I'm using 16 games because I haven't really fully bought into the 17-game idea. But let's say a 12-4 team. This is what we grew up on. 12-4 team plays a 9-7 team and a 10-6 team, right? The difference in win percentage is like 15 to 19%. The difference in win percentage between a 54-win team and a 43-win team is like 12 or 13%. So like we have parity in the league.
Absolutely.
People need to stop fucking paying attention to the seeds. The seeds don't matter. All these teams are good. You have to, nobody plays 82 games anymore. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. So you have to factor all this stuff in. You can't use like, oh, well, in the 90s, this team played this team and this team. Well, guess what? The 8 seeds sucked back then.
Terrible.
They sucked.
Terrible. And you haven't even thought about this. Next year's going to be even worse. Memphis is coming back. Spurs are going to...
What do the Spurs do this? I mean...
Spurs are going to do something. Like they're
Rockets?
Rockets, like, that's even more teams in the West that are, like, going to be good. There's going to be no bad teams.
Yeah, Philadelphia as a 7 seed. Philadelphia as a 7 seed.
They have Joel Embiid.
They have Maxey. They have cap space.
max cap space.
What?
But also to your point about the seeding thing with like the Denver thing, like, okay, it doesn't matter what seed the Lakers are when they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You still have to beat LeBron James and Anthony Davis in a playoff series and to beat them 4 times.
And it's also like, it's not their fault. Like they're just playing whoever's in front of them. That's not their fault. That if they're injured or like a little bit like the chemistry isn't there, and that's not their problem.
Yeah.
You still have to put the ball in the basket. I think people underestimate you still have to put the ball in the basket.
Do you think, we've talked about this a good amount, but not living in the moment, but just seeing what Minnesota's doing.
Hold on a second. But real quick, I just want to say one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever says this about an NFL team.
No.
Nobody said, there's been wild card teams that have fucking won NFL championships, that have won the Super Bowl. And nobody's like, oh, their run was a fraud. Why?
No, they didn't say about the Chiefs this year.
Well, I just don't understand why.
It was crazy.
Why is it just about the NBA? Why?
Because it's like they play so many games.
No, because it all goes back to the fucking GOAT and legacy bullshit.
Yeah,
people would rather talk about that than basketball.
You're really worked up about this one.
He said he was going to rant.
I see.
He said he was going to rant.
I see.
Do you think super teams are officially dead?
Dead? I just think it's looked at it in a different way now. I think it's not, okay, we have 4 guys that are all-stars and like really good high-paid players, but like instead it's more so this team is really cohesive. Like it's a super team because you can't attack anybody on this team. Everybody can score, they can dribble, they can pass, they can shoot. So I think that could be like the newer definition of a super team because obviously with the second apron we've seen, well, the new CBA rules and the taxes, we've seen it's going to be tough to make like a super team with guys that are making a lot of money and then the rest of the guys not making much money at all.
I think the idea, and again, I'm happy to be wrong on this. I really am. I'm happy to be wrong if the Phoenix Suns go on to win a championship next year with that group and those 3 guys together. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong.
I mean,
if the Lakers somehow trade for a 3rd star and they go on to win a championship, like, I'm happy to be wrong.
I'm still in the West now.
Hold on. I'm saying I'm happy to be wrong. I'm not saying I would be happy if either of those teams won.
Okay.
I'm just saying I'm happy to be wrong.
All right, cool.
I like being wrong. It's fine.
Okay.
My point was going to be on the death of the super team. I would say the idea of building a 3-star, 3 max level team through trades and free agency, that probably is done. If you can build a younger team through the draft and timely trades, that can still exist. Like OKC is going to have 3 max guys in 3 years.
Correct.
They're going to have 3 max guys. Jalen and Chet in 3 years will be on a max contract, and Shea will be on a max contract.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still a way to do it. It just, to me, it has to be through the draft, or you have a bunch of young assets, you have future picks, and you trade for that 3rd star that way versus going all in on 3 guys and not being able to build out a competent roster.
Oh, for sure.